Clara Bog in County Offaly. Botanists say it's unique and should be conserved. Bord na Móna wants to use it for peat. This road splits the bog into two halves. The western half to the left is more or less as it's always been. To the right, Bord na Móna is continuing with the drainage work it started last summer. To date, the battle over Clara Bog has been between the conservationists and the board, but now a local group has joined in too. Clara Development Association organised an information day in the town on self-employment. They got the Minister for Labour to open it, and when he was in the area, brought him to see the bog. They say they're the first local group to comment on it. They want the two options, conservation or development, assessed by an independent study. And while the study is going on, they want drainage work to stop.
Well, in fairness, we'd like to have the two sides of the argument looked at.
But which side would you come down on? You'd have to come down on one side, surely.
Not necessarily. I suppose our leaning is here towards conservation.
If it's developed, it apparently will mean 35 to 40 men having jobs for the next 40 years. With unemployment being quite high locally, perhaps some of your members might prefer to go for the option of developing the bog.
Well, the corollary to that is, if it is publicised and developed internationally, we could have people coming here and a large tourism effort. Developing as a study internationally for peatlands, this could have a much bigger spin-off than the other.
And that's the option the conservationists want to see pursued. In the meantime, the Irish Wildlife Federation has accused Bord na Móna of sharp practice over the continuing drainage work.
Just the day before Patrick's Day, the Taoiseach's department contacted me and said that there was a positive assurance from the Taoiseach that no action would be taken until a government decision was made. Now, since I was last here, several drains, you can hear the lifeblood of this bog disappearing down the drain, literally, behind you. And this is all new. So that's, for my money, Bord na Móna are going behind everybody's back on that one.
Well, Bord na Móna say they aren't going behind anyone's back. The assurance they gave, they say, was not to start drainage work on the western half. There was no assurance given on stopping such work in the eastern half of the bog. And according to a Dutch research student, that drainage work has already caused a great deal of damage.
The damage done so far has been extensive, but it can be overcome by filling up the drains again and try to get it wet back again and restore it then.
If the drains were blocked tomorrow, how long would it take to get the bog back to its original state?
Perhaps you can say, give an estimate on 20 years you'll get a little bit back, but it will take perhaps longer than that. It's very difficult to give figures on that.
So at least the damage isn't irreparable at this stage?
No, perhaps not, but you have got to be quick to fill up the drains and stop it.
Bord na Móna say the bog will give work to between 35 and 40 people for 40 years. So if the drainage stops, that might be the end of those jobs.
That's a totally fallacious argument. What they're saying, in fact, even though that has been said, is that they will maintain people in employment. These won't be extra jobs. But what I'm saying is that they can develop any of the 4 other bogs in the vicinity, or all 4 of them, and increase the number of jobs if that's what they want to do, despite whatever is going to happen about the ESB. But there's no need whatsoever to develop Clara.
But Bord na Móna have always made the point that there is. Surely they wouldn't have spent the money draining the bog if they felt that other bogs would be as suitable.
Well, now, that's a question of what you regard as suitable. This is a much more convenient bog to tackle from their point of view. There's a good access road. It's a big bog, therefore it's easier to handle. And, of course, the minute you get involved in that, you can say, right, if you're going to develop the other 4 bogs, there might be a lot more employment involved.
The final decision on what happens to the bog is to be made by the government. Both sides have now put their cases. And according to Mr. Quinn, the decision on Clara's future should be made soon.
Well, I think a decision has to be taken fairly soon because Bord na Móna themselves are anxious to have their own development programme proceed with as quickly as possible. And if they don't proceed on this bog, then naturally they're going to have to look at the other bogland in this part of County Offaly. And of course, Bord na Móna is a major employer in County Offaly, and it would be our intention to encourage and enhance their position.
But you don't know precisely when a decision will be taken?
Well, as a result of this visit now, I will certainly be talking to the Taoiseach, to the Minister for Energy, Dick Spring, who will have the direct responsibility with Bord na Móna. And I will convey to him very clearly the concern that a lot of people have expressed to me about the future of this unique natural habitat.